Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for August 19th. Currently looking at the US-Japanese yen pair. This particular pair closed lower. We were able to scalp our 10 pips from this downward move that we talked about yesterday, which was very nice. We are looking for this pair to continue moving down with a bias to the downside. Look for this pair to potentially move as high as 95.51. Possibly as low as 92.99. Look for some resistance around 94.33 and look for some support around 93.65 in this particular pair. Now looking at the Euro USD pair, this particular pair closed higher, moving sideways overall, biased to the sideways. Look for this pair to potentially move as high as 1.4350. Possibly as low as 139.99. Look for some resistance around 142.89 and look for some support around 141.86. Now, looking at the pound US dollar pair, this particular pair did break the previous bar's high, but did close down, moved much lower down before moving up and closing just a little bit down. This pair is moving sideways with a bias that is sideways. Look for this pair to potentially move as high as 166.99, possibly as low as 162.90. Look for some resistance around 166.50 and look for some support around 164.75. Now, switching over to the US Swiss, this pair moved down fairly significantly, closed down during this last session, moving sideways with a bias to the downside. Look for this pair to potentially move as high as 1.0853, possibly as low as 1.0555. Look for some resistance around 10698 and look for some support around 1.0621 in this particular pair. Now, we don't have any movers, we don't have any news announcements going into this next session of any significance. It's a fairly light session. Definitely have a couple of things I'm looking at. One is if you draw your trend lines on the hour time frame in the US Swiss, you can see that this last session kind of pegged the low of our trend line. So definitely keep an eye on that. If we get a break below that, we could definitely move. I could see it definitely moving down to this area, or possibly, down about 47 pips, possibly as low as 67 pips during this next move. So that's something to keep an eye on over this next session, especially if you use, around the 40 pip mark as your stop loss. Not that that's a great risk to reward, but it is something that can very well happen with the trend line drawing very distinctly as it has, as far as tagging it on the low like it did today. Another thing that I'm looking at is another little scalping play in the euro. If you draw your trend line here, get fairly close. Let's see here. Draw a couple more. So we have this area that is right around in here. If you look at previous resistance at this level, kind of crosses it. So you have this area right here that could be a potential breakout. And if you notice the price, it's at 142.47, which is right below 142.50. A lot of times you'll bounce off the round numbers there, so this pair could very easily move to 142.50 and bounce around there like this and either come back down or break through it to the upside. So what I'm looking to do is basically look for a buy at 142.55, looking for an exit of that particular trade 10 pips above there at 142.65. This gives you a little bit of room to the upside if it goes a pip or two above the 142.50 and then pulls back down. It actually provides you a little bit of space there to keep that from happening. and basically looking for as far as where I'm looking to get out would be at this previous session's high, which is roughly about 15, 16 pips away. I'm kind of sandwiching my buy in there, my 10 pip increment within this box, so that I can profit safely with 10 pips. I'm using a 10 pip stop loss, by the way, for this particular trade. It's pretty tight, 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, but what I'm counting on is that the market will kind of bounce around and then break through to a significant degree and move pretty quick through my price, and that's kind of what I'm counting on. So the stop loss can be somewhat tight. So that's two potential trades to look at just from the break of trend lines. One a little bit longer term, one a little bit shorter. So that pretty much wraps it up for today. Until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.